Hello students, welcome to Read MedPrep Academy channel. Today in genetics, in Principles of Inheritance and Variation part 5, we are going to discuss about genetic disorders. In this we are going to talk about the Mendelian disorders. We will discuss thalassemia, phenylketonuria, albinism and Huntington's chorea. What is a genetic disorder? A genetic disorder is a disease or a syndrome that is caused by an abnormality in an individual DNA. How this genetic disorder occur? Because of chromosomal abnormalities. Abnormalities can range from a single small mutation in a gene to the addition or subtraction of an entire chromosome or even a set of a chromosome. Now something about the heredity of the genetic disorders. Individuals who inherit only one copy of the mutated gene do not generally experience disease symptoms but are called carriers because they can still pass the trait on to their children. Genetic conditions are usually inherited, meaning that they are passed down from the parents to the children. However, some genetic disorders occur in individuals with no family history at all about the disorder and are instead caused by genetic mutations that occur during the development of the egg, the sperm or the embryo. What are the types of the genetic disorders? There are two types of genetic disorders, Mendelian disorder and chromosomal disorder. What is Mendelian disorder? Alteration or mutation in a single gene causes Mendelian disorder. How Mendelian disorders are inherited? Mendelian disorders are transmitted to the offsprings on the same line as the Mendelian pattern of inheritance. Some examples of Mendelian disorders like thalassemia, albinism, phenylketonuria, sickle cell anemia, Huntington's chorea, etc. These disorders may be dominant or recessive, autosomal or sex-linked. Now, what are the differences between the autosomal recessive disorders and autosomal dominant disorders? In the onset, early uniform onset occurs in the autosomal recessive. That means it occurs in the infancy or childhood. Whereas in an autosomal dominant character, variable onset occurs, may be delayed into adulthood. Penetrance, complete penetrance occurs in autosomal recessive. In autosomal dominant, incomplete penetrance with variable expression. Mutation of usually an enzyme protein occurs in autosomal recessive, whereas in autosomal dominant, usually a structural protein or receptor. In autosomal recessive, it requires mutation of both the alleles, whereas in autosomal dominant, mutation of one allele is enough. Now, let us move on to thalassemia. What is thalassemia? Thalassemia is an autosomal recessive disorder. How is it caused? It is caused by the gene mutation resulting in excessive destruction of the RBCs due to the formation of abnormal hemoglobin molecules. You can see here the normal red blood cells and the cells which are malformed because of thalassemia, where there is disorder resulting in the abnormal formation of the globin chains. What is the defect in thalassemia? Normally, we know that hemoglobin is composed of 4 polypeptide chains, 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains. These chains are globin chains. In thalassemia patients, they have defects in either the alpha or the beta globin chain, causing the production of abnormal hemoglobin molecules, resulting in anemia. What are the types of thalassemia? Thalassemia is classified into alpha thalassemia and beta thalassemia based on which chain is affected in the hemoglobin molecule. If the alpha chains are affected, then it is called alpha thalassemia. If the beta chains are affected, it is called beta thalassemia. What is alpha thalassemia? It is controlled by two closely linked genes, HBA1 and HBA2, and these genes are present on chromosome number 16. Mutation or deletion of one or more of the 4 alpha gene alleles causes alpha thalassemia. This alpha thalassemia is also called alpha thalassemia trait or alpha thalassemia minor. It occurs when 2 of the 4 alpha genes are missing. The unaffected globin chains can compensate for the missing genes. It exhibits mild microcytic hypochromic anemia and the mean corpuscular volume MCV between 70 to 75 FL. May be confused with iron deficiency anemia. Some Bart's hemoglobin chains 4 in number may be present at birth. In adults, the Bart's hemoglobin is not present. What are the features of alpha thalassemia? The cheeks, the forehead and the jaw may be prominent and all overgrow. There will be jaundice. There will be extremely enlarged splenomegaly. What is beta thalassemia? Beta thalassemia is the production of beta globin chain is affected. It is controlled by a single gene HBB on chromosome number 11. Here you can see the chromosomes affected in thalassemia. In alpha thalassemia, chromosome number 16 is affected. In beta thalassemia, where the beta globin gene is present, it's in the chromosome number 11. What is Cooley's anemia? Beta thalassemia is the most common type of thalassemia and is also known as Cooley's anemia. It is otherwise called thalassemia major. It's a disorder where the alpha chain production is increased and this damages the membranes of the RBCs. Here you can see on the left side is the normal hemoglobin, which consists of 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains bound to the iron atom. Whereas on the left side, where there is beta thalassemia, all the chains are alpha chains and there is no beta chains. What are the clinical features of beta thalassemia? General features are pallor, fatigue, dyspnea on exertion, poor appetite, palpitations and poor growth. Features of hemolysis cause jaundice, hyperuricemia, gallstones. Because of excessive erythropoiesis, there is maxillary overgrowth, where the name is given as chipmunk. Increased spaces overbite and malocclusion of teeth, frontal bossing, chronic sinusitis and impaired hearing. Here you can see the inheritance pattern of thalassemia. A carrier father, a carrier mother of thalassemia who are heterozygous. The children that are formed, 25% is unaffected son, 25% the carrier daughter, 25% carrier son and the affected daughter, since it's a recessive allele. Now let us move on to phenylketonuria. What is phenylketonuria? It is an inborn error of phenylalanine metabolism caused due to a pair of autosomal recessive alleles. In this disorder, there is a mutation in the gene of phenylalanine hydroxylase located on chromosome number 12 for the hepatic enzyme. Phenylalanine hydroxylase is the enzyme which is essential for the conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine. Here you can see the chemical structure of phenylalanine L, where hydroxylation of the phenylalanine occurs because of the enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase, resulting in the formation of L-tyrosine. What happens in phenylketonuria? The affected individuals, phenylalanine accumulates and gets converted to phenylpyruvic acid and other derivatives. What are the features of phenylketonuria? It is characterized by light pigmentation of the skin and hair. Phenylpyruvic acid is excreted in the urine. Because of the excess accumulation of phenylalanine, prevention of normal brain development occurs, and this results in mental retardation and failure to walk or talk, seizures, hyperactivity, tremor, microcephaly and failure to grow. These metabolites give the urine a characteristic musty or mousy odor. Albinism. Albinism is an inborn error of metabolism caused due to the autosomal recessive gene. Results in a condition called albinism. What is the defect in albinism? A person with the recessive allele lacks the tyrosinase enzyme system, which is required for the conversion of DOPA, dihydroxyphenylalanine, into melanin pigment inside the melanocytes. Here you can see the tyrosine catabolism. Phenylalanine hydroxylase, on conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine, this tyrosine that is formed is converted into DOPA by the enzyme tyrosine hydroxylase. And this DOPA gets converted into dopamine by DOPA decarboxylase in the presence of vitamin B6. And the DOPA also required for the formation of melanin by the enzyme tyrosinase. Because of the lack of this enzyme tyrosinase, there is no formation of melanin, and this results in a condition called albinism. In an albino, melanocytes are present in normal numbers in their skin, hair iris, etc. But these melanocytes do not have the melanin pigment. So what are the characteristics of this disease? Little to no melanin pigment in the eyes, skin and hair. Vision problems results as a cause of low amounts of melanin in the albinos. Eyes are usually blue or light brown but can sometimes appear red. Skin and hair is very pale in color, more likely to cause sunburn. Sensitivity to bright light occurs. Now let us move on to Huntington's chorea. What is it? It is an inherited disorder which is autosomal dominant because of a lethal gene that occurs in man. The gene of Huntington's disease is on the chromosome number 4. On this chromosome, the triplet cytosine, adenine and guanine may be duplicated up to 26 times in the general population. Individuals with Huntington disease may have from 40 to over 100 repeated CAG segments. It is not known how this repeated segment causes the Huntington disease, but research to develop therapies to treat Huntington disease is ongoing. What are the features of Huntington's chorea? It is characterized by involuntarily jerky movements of the body and progressive degeneration of the nervous system. And this is also accompanied by mental and physical deterioration. In Huntington's chorea, there will be enlargement of the ventricles, damage to the cerebral nerve tissue, resulting in atrophy of the cerebral nerve tissue and the basal ganglia. So what are the clinical features? Huntington's disease is a rapidly progressive neurodegenerative disease that leads to dementia. Typically presents with alterations in the mood as well as a change in the character, defects in memory and attention, progresses to a movement disorder consisting of involuntary rapid motions, usually not recognized until the patient is in their early 30s. Now the patients with this disease usually die between the age of 35 and 40 years. So today in genetics, in Principles of Inheritance and Variation Part 5, we discussed about the various Mendelian disorders like thalassemia, phenylketonuria, albinism and Huntington's chorea. Thank you. Kindly subscribe, like, share and comment our channel Read Med Prep Academy. Log on to www.readmedprepacademy.com. Our Facebook ID is Read Med Prep Academy. Our email is readmedprepacademy@gmail.com. Don't forget to post your questions in the comment box. We will reply with appropriate answers. Thank you.